Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another Speedcast interview session. I am your host, Zoom CW, also known as Julio. Today we have a very special guest. He is the multi-talented actor Abraham Lim. You know him as Kenji Miyashiro on the hit show on Amazon Prime, The Boys. So let's go ahead and get him on the live.
I told you not to say multi-talented. Good morning. Oh my
Good
goodness.
morning. Hey, I speak the truth, man. I speak the truth.
Well, thanks very much. Oh my God, my friend Ali Maki just joined. That's so funny. I love you, Ali.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Abraham, for joining my Speedcast today. I truly, truly appreciate your time. I just got to say, man, congratulations on The Boys Season 2.
Oh, thank
Amazing
you.
work, amazing acting.
Oh,
Can you,
I
can you
just
talk?
I hate like I apparently hate myself as a person, so I'm really bad at taking compliments and affirmations. So I really appreciate that. But thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Hey man, it's well deserved. Your acting was just so deep and emotional, and I mean, to me, it was really that brother sister, chemistry between you and Kamiko,
Right.
or Karen. I mean, you guys were just amazing, man. Can you talk a little bit about that?
For sure, yeah. Honestly, it was so easy. As an actor, you're only as good as your partner, and I had such a generous, amazing scene partner in Karen. She actually, even before I got on set, emailed me to kind of like talk and fill in and make sure I knew stuff about, the backstory and everything. And once we got on set, we clicked so well. The chemistry wasn't worked on or earned. It was just kind of a magical click that happened between us, and before you knew it, we were going to crafty together and eating everything in sight, because that's just what we do. And we would and when we were in scenes together, we were so engaged and there for one another. So I think a lot of it could be attributed to that. But yeah, I was super excited to work with her, and I loved every moment of it.
That's awesome, man. Before we continue, I just want to give everyone a heads up and a warning. We are gonna be discussing spoilers. The season finale, episode 8, did premiere yesterday, and we want to make sure that you guys, I don't want anyone complaining to me afterwards that
I
that we gave
know,
away
I know.
spoilers.
Yeah, I haven't said anything on like Twitter or anything like that, or Instagram, just kind of like spoiler wise, just because I'm like, I want to give everyone like a week. But it's good that you gave a disclaimer though, because people can get crazy.
I know that I talked to some of my friends prior to coming online with you, and there a couple of my friends are like two behind, three behind, and I'm telling them, man, you got to watch this because this season is mind blowing, and literally, right? It's a mind blowing season, if you will.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's so good. I'm so happy and excited to be a part of it. Honestly, yeah, it is it's mind blowing. Yeah, it's lit. It's everything, but yeah, no, it's a really great season, and I couldn't be happier for the crew and the cast. Hello to India. But yeah, I couldn't be happier for everyone involved, because they worked so hard, and it's truly a labor of love on everyone's end. So congrats to everyone. And season 3 and spinoff, baby.
Oh, that yes,
Aren't
yes.
we excited
Uh,
for that? It's actually hot.
I, I mean, I know you signed an NDA, Abraham. I know but what have you heard about that spinoff? Have you heard anything? I mean, anything that you could tell us?
No, I can tell you what's on like the press article, which is the press release, which is that it's gonna be at an academy and with soups, and I'm excited. It sounds really, really intriguing, and honestly, like Kripke and Seth Rogen and Goldberg, they're not gonna put their name on something just because as a cash cow. That's because they really have a vision and an idea, and I'm excited to see what that's gonna be. And who's going to be there possibly. I'm very excited for season 3 as well. Yeah, I'm really excited for season 3. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned Kripke. He's the showrunner and the executive producer along with Seth. I love the work that he had done before. Of course, he's famous for Timeless. He's famous for oh my God, I'm forgetting the CW
Supernatural.
show. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could tell that he loves the people that he works with because he's brought over some of those elements, some of those casts from like Timeless, and I just love the way that he works. How was that experience for you working with him?
Honestly, Crookie's the nicest guy. He's the nicest guy. He's like the most chill dude, and he was there and super supportive. I spoil alert if you haven't gotten to episode 3, but when that scene with Stormfront happens, he was making sure that he was there for us the entire time, and checked in on us. He actually emailed us afterwards too, and was just like, "Hey, I wish I could take more care of you guys. Are you okay? Well, was it a supportive environment?" He's a great boss, one of the best bosses I've had. So, I'm very, very lucky to have worked with him and be part of this family.
How did this role how did it get presented to you? Was it a casting call? Was it like the secretive, because a lot of these comic book based TV shows have like a secretive script. You don't even know that you're going to read for a comic book based show. Was that the scenario here? How did that come about?
Well, I mean, definitely for this show, I auditioned for it because I'm not, I'm not fancy enough quite yet. But I did audition for it. It's so funny because the same week that I auditioned for this part, I auditioned for Gecko a few days prior. And I auditioned for Gecko, and I thought I did a great job, and I was like, oh my goodness, I was like, this would be fantastic. And but then they liked me, casting liked me, so they sent me off for the role of Gecko. But then this other role came in, and they knew that I spoke Japanese, and they brought me in, and alongside like a few other guys, I think they were sent off, and Eric Kripke and the producers happened to choose me, which I'm very thankful for. And the guy who played Gecko did an incredible job. But yeah, no script provided. You're just kind of given the scenes, a lot of which, you don't really know if they're going to be using the show or not, because some shows are very, very secretive, A lot of Ryan Murphy shows, you don't really get even like the scenes that you're actually going to be doing. You'll get it from a totally different show of his. And though that wasn't the case for this show, it's still like, you're not going to get a script, there's just no way. But it was still fun, and I was excited I was so excited when I got it, because this show was like, everyone wanted this damn show, before it came out. When this pilot episode, like when they were casting for it, like everyone and their mothers auditioned. So like, I was so excited to be a part of the family in a small way.
And congratulations for landing the role. I mean, well deserved, because you killed it, dude.
Oh,
you totally killed it. That's Kenji, man. Yeah, one of my friends read for Homelander, and he was pretty bummed, but I mean, Tony's killing it as well. So I gotta ask you this: once you learned that you got that role,
right.
What was the next step into diving into Kenji's head, if you will? Did you go? I mean, because you're not a comic book, you're not in the comics, right? But what did you do to immerse yourself in the boys' world? Because the boys' world is extremely graphic, man. What did you do? How did you get into that zone?
I went around and started murdering people. I actually, I'm not Nevin, so I didn't have to go kill anyone or blow anyone up. But I actually, it's, to me, it's, when the boys, what's so special about it is that it's not just like popcorn fare, right? It's not about just blowing shit up or people's heads blowing up or anything like that. It's if you really dig deep, right? It's stories about, white supremacy. It's a story about separation of brother and sister. It's a story about, this, in Huey's case, a guy who's been like downcast and kind of not really believed in. kind of emasculated for a really long time, and he's proving himself. So when you strip everything down to the bare essence, you kind of get to the main story. And this is a story of a brother, a young man who has experienced so much loss in his life. And he's angry. He's sad, you know, at the core of it. You know, he thinks he's lost his sister, he's lost his parents, and he has nothing else to fight for but the shining light, you know, liberty, you know, and so he's just gonna. So for me, Kenji, I really feel sad for him. I think he's like a really sad guy. I feel like he's been through some really shitty circumstances, and yeah, and then playing the arc with Karen, obviously, you know, I have a sister of my own who's older than me, older than myself, and that was pretty easy to tap into, just because I guess I'm a depressive and I just tap into sad stuff very easily. But I don't know. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. But I was excited to have superpowers. On a lighter note, damn, I was so excited to have superpowers. You know, God, if you told me when I was younger that I would be like, you know, moving shit with my hands and, you know, fucking Homelander up, I would have never believed you. But yeah, I was really excited about that too.
You gave Homelander a run for his money, man, when you dropped all those cars on him. Let me tell you something.
I mean, nobody else seemed to do that, you know, up until that point. But yeah, I was pretty excited. When I found out about that, I was like, no way, man. Like, that's crazy. So, yeah. But that was a fun scene to shoot, because Anthony was being he was being so funny. And it was really hard to do things like, and all that stuff seriously when you have this guy in front of you who's like laughing. But he's so much fun. I mean, everyone on that set's pretty fantastic.
You know, your character is so OP, man. Let me tell you, when I saw,
what does OP mean, by the way? I've seen that and I don't know what that means.
Oh, you're overpowered. You're so overpowered. I mean, you're so powerful. And when you know, that footage that they saw, that one scene where you literally, you know, move the boat out of the way, that ship, that was so OP. And then the scene in what was it, Party World, that you guys were in?
Yeah, Party World.
That was so amazing. Can you talk a little bit about that scene? How that scene came about?
That scene was fucking crazy, man. It was like it wasn't really CGI. That's the thing. I think everyone's like, oh my God, CGI is crazy. And it really wasn't. They actually had me do it in front of green screen, and just do it. But then they also had another take where like all the stuff actually like flew behind me and fell. And it was through like wires and explosions. And by the end of the day, we fucked up Party World. Like, it was just, there was stuff everywhere. Everything was broken. And I was like, all I could think was, oh my God, this is so sad, because like these props department and the set dressers and the decorators, they worked so hard on this. And I was like, all their work is just done and dead on the floor. But yeah, it was gnarly, man. It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. I worked with some people on set where they kind of like helped me with like movement and stuff like that. But I already pretty much had an idea of what how Kenji was going to move, and if he's going to move a ship like a boat versus I don't know, whatever, like something way lighter, it's going to be easier for him. And so there's going to be a lot less distress on his face, and it's going to be a lot less effort, but then if you're moving a can with like a finger that's barely out of something, it's going to be a ton of effort, because I don't have the full mobility in my hands. So all that kind of goes into it before you do it, because you don't want to just be the person that goes like, ha! And just does a bunch of random shit. Everything has to have a purpose and like kind of a formula behind it. So yeah, but it was so much fun that day. My baby niece was born emergency C-section that day back in San Diego, and I was on the phone with my sister in between takes. I cannot tell you, I was so stressed. I think everyone probably thought that I was having like a panic attack and I was nervous about the scene, but in fact I was just like, later, once I got to know them a bit better, I was like, hey, you guys, just so you know, I was fine. I'm a consummate professional. My baby niece was born emergency C-section. So yeah, she was born on the day that I shot the Party World scene.
And everything came out okay?
She is a beautiful brat. I love her very, very much. She is smart, and she is a strong-willed young baby girl, and I'm very excited to have her in my life.
Hey man, spoil her as much as you can, man. Spoil her
Oh
rotten.
man, yeah, I know, right? Because they grow up so quickly. My nephew is like a year and a half older than her, and he's already like trying to outshine me and outbook me for jobs. I mean, he's like the most handsome, like he's such a good guy, man, too. I don't know why I'm talking about babies when everyone's just like, why are you talking about babies on the boys?
Somebody just commented, your work on The Boys is sublime.
Oh, Dominic! I worked with Dominic on. He's an incredible actor. I worked with him on The Rookie on ABC. It was like a fun little job, but yeah, we worked together for a day, and yeah, it was. I love Dominic.
That was a show with Nathan Fillion, correct?
Yes, yeah, it's still on. I think they're shooting the next season right now. I think they're on season 3, I believe. But yeah, I worked on that, and Dom is fantastic.
You know, I'm so happy for you, Abraham. You know, you've been doing this for a while now, and I'm very happy that you're getting the recognition. I'm very happy that, and specifically, you know, for Asian Americans, you know, there's the diversity in Hollywood, and, you know, there's a little bit of change, not as much change as we would like, but I'm very, very happy for you because, you know, you're getting the recognition.
Yeah.
I know that it's very tough, and the roles out there for Asian Americans they're not that many, but can you talk a little bit about the diversity in Hollywood right now?
For sure, man. I'm really excited and looking forward to a day where the word diversity isn't needed. That it's just kind of like I remember after, not to bring it back to the babies, but like I remember when my nephew was born, I kind of made it like my mission to, because you know babies change your life, right? Even if they're not like yours, if when you become an aunt or an uncle or anything like that. And I remember we were watching Crazy Rich Asians, and it was my mom, my sister, myself, and Aiden, and she was holding Aiden. And I love Hillary Duff. And I was just thinking to myself and actually crying watching it. I was like, I'm looking forward to the day, and I'm going to work for the day that Aiden takes for granted that he sees himself on television and on film. Are we there yet? No. Is it, you know, I'm just going to say it, is it blatantly, you know, racist that, you know, that Hollywood has they call it business, but that they have a hierarchy of like, you know, first it's this group and then this group and then this group. Because what you're inherently doing is basically telling people that, you know, you matter more than these other people, but you're not as important as these people, right? And that's a shitty feeling for anyone, because, you know, what about, you know, differently abled people? What about, you know, Muslims on television and film? What about, you know, what about Latinos and Latinas and Black people and Asians? You know, diversity isn't just about, you know, one or two groups. It's about the collective. And I'm excited to be a part of the wave that contributes to, because I don't give a about being first anymore. I just want to be a part of something that and that moves this movement forward, you know, and that we see people that you and I both know on the streets or back at school, at home, like on TV, that it's not just, you know what I'm talking about, man. But yeah, but it is something that I'm passionate about, and that's honestly been so. Everyone being nice to me has meant so much, but to me, what's meant the most, honestly, is when I hear from my Asian peers and Asian, you know, viewers, because I put a lot of pressure on myself as an Asian American actor to be as great as I possibly can, so that for the next person, it's easier for them to get hired, so that they're like, wow, do you remember like that actor? You know, do you remember Karen Fukuhara or Abraham Lim? They were pretty fantastic. Like, let's hire more, you know? And it's a heavy pressure to carry, but like, that's why I get so anxious when things come out. But the support has been so nice. So you even saying that too, like, it's awkward because it's early in the morning, but I'm so thankful, and thank you very much for that. It really does mean a lot to me. So thanks.
Very well said, man. Very well said. I was just talking about you know, the diversity in Hollywood last week with Nelson Lee, and you know, I was telling him, you know, I took my kids, you know, we're Mexican American, you know, born and raised here in LA, and I took them to see Captain Marvel, and I know that it was filmed in Australia, but there was that subway scene in downtown LA in the 90s. There was a throwback scene, and I did not see any Latinos on the subway, and that was a travesty, man, because my kids are telling me, "Hey, Daddy, wasn't there any Latinos or Mexican Americans in downtown LA back in the 90s?" I was like, "Yes, there was. There was a lot." So the fact that we're
Could not
moving,
tell you. Couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm not going to throw any shows under, because there are still some shows that I really like, the writing or the acting or the directing of cinema, those things on, but you can't have a show set in Queens or Brooklyn, New York, and not have black people, brown people, yellow people. Like, you just can't, and there are still so many where I'm like, this isn't even a fucking period piece, bro. Like, this is set in current day, and and it's crazy. I'm like, this is like, I feel like I'm watching like a gentrified kombucha, ad for New York. But no, I totally feel you on that, the Captain Marvel thing, because it's like downtown LA. How are you not going to see Mexican Americans in downtown LA? That's crazy. At any time, that's crazy, right? But
yeah, just like New York, man. I know.
got to put in the work, and by you talking about it with me, and by me showing up and doing things, and by so many people that I know from all different backgrounds. I have a friend who was the first Tony Award winner, and she's a differently abled, and she's on a wheelchair, for the revival of Oklahoma, Ali Stroker. It's people like her and people in all different communities going forward and being like, you know what, we are upset about this and it is unfair, but we're going to work hard and we're going to do what we have to do to show people, like, hire us. There are more of us behind or next to us. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I'm Kamala Harris.
When I saw her win that Tony, man, me and my wife were watching, and we were moved, dude. We were tearing up. It was like, wow. I mean, that's awesome. Some recognition also for
If there was a person to win damn Tony from our cast of the Glee project, I mean, it was Ali Stroker, man. I'm so happy and so proud of her.
And her live performance that night was amazing too.
Can you believe she was sick? I think she was sick that night.
What?
I know.
I could not tell, man.
She's just dumb. She's just dumb. It's unacceptable. But I mean, so many people, so many talented people from our cast on the Glee project. And I look at, it's so funny. I had this thought the other day, and I was like, how? I was like, how did we get here? And I think about some of us and how far we've come, and not just in professional lives, but like on our personal lives. And I'm really, really proud. I'm really, really proud of us. So, yeah.
Very well said. I got to ask you about one of the scenes that you shot on The Boys.
Yes.
I read somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong, I read somewhere that you have a fear of water. Is that
I do. True? How did you know that? Oh my God.
I read that it goes back to when you were a child, that you had two instances where you almost drowned, right?
Yeah. How did you know that? That's crazy. Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, with that background in your life, having those two traumatic experiences in your life, how was it filming that scene out in the ocean for,
you don't talk about it when you're on set. You just can go. You know what's crazy? Oh man, I'm so shocked that you know that, because that's like a deep cut thing. But no, it's bad. It's worse at night. And luckily we weren't shooting at night. But when I see the vast nothingness and like the endlessness of an ocean at night, that's when I'm just like, oh man, like I feel like a Terrence Malick film, and I'm having a major existential crisis, and I was like, that's scary, and I don't want to walk towards it. During the daytime, it's a little better, but like when we're out deep, I'm like, oh man. And like also on top of that, that speedboat, Carl was actually driving it, and he was going really, really fast. And so we're just like riding the tread of the water and just like going that way. And poor Jack, I mean, he had it the worst, but he was like all the way at the front of the speedboat. But like him and I both had like, those like motion sickness patches that you put on?
Yeah.
I had on like 6. I had on like 6.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And then you just kind of like trick your mind to be like, you know what? Like, no, you're not scared. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Were you taking like ginger candy as well or anything like that, or?
Apps. I did everything. Everything that was legal on a set, I did. Yeah, it was. And poor Jack, man, he's such a trooper. I know. Someone just said those don't work. Lol. I am lolling. Yeah, it does not work at all. Thank you at all.
I've heard salt on the green apple. Ginger candy. There's those wrist things. I can't remember what those are called, but
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I tried, like, I took pills. I did a candy thing, the ginger candy. I did the patches, and I was still nauseous, but it wasn't as bad as it initially was. But yeah, I do have a deep fear of water. Wow, you crazy, crazy guy. That's crazy that you know that.
So Carl was actually driving that speedboat? I thought it was a stunt person.
No, Carl was driving it because he has, I think he has boats and he likes doing that. That's a hobby of his. So they let him drive. Steve, our director, Steve Boyum, he let him literally take the wheel, and he was driving us, and it was fun. I mean, how many times do you have like Carl Urban like driving a fucking speedboat at like 60 miles an hour for you in the middle of like the choppy waters of Toronto? Like, never. That never happens. Never. And then after that, you're like in a whale, So it's like, yeah, it was, God, the show was so much fun. Yeah, it was so much fun.
You look like you had so much fun filming on The Boys, because I look at all your Instagram and all the selfies you took with the entire cast, and then I see all the blood on you guys. How much fun was that? And when you guys were inside the whale, how was that experience? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, luckily I wasn't inside. That was Karen and I and Tomir. I think Tomir was inside, but Karen and I, we had hit the whale and we fell onto the beach. But man, when you're working that many hours and you're not complaining, like no one's complaining, that's how everyone's having so much fun. And we were shooting. I will say though that the blood is actually not as fun as you would think, and I didn't have nearly as bad as Jack, the poor guy. But no, because it was summer. It was the summer of Toronto. It's really humid. It's really hot. And especially when we were shooting on the beach, and when I was shooting with the Stormfront scene on the roof of the apartment building, it was so hot and so sunny that it just gets super, super sticky. And I remember after I wrapped, they gave me an early wrap gift, and I started breaking out with these little pimples. But man, we had so much fun on that set. Everyone was just like, everything from singing musical numbers with like Aya Cash, and Karen, before she brutalizes me, and and we would like hang out, outside a set too. So yeah, I walked away with like a great work experience, but also some like really great friends. So like, what a bonus, man.
It looked like you're having so much fun. Can you talk a little bit about working with Aya, because she's getting a little bit of hate out there. Hey guys, just remember, it's just a show. It's just a show. She's a great actress. Don't hate her for being a great actress.
First of all, she's Jewish. She's Jewish. So no, she's not. Oh, my bro name is Kenji. Oh, hi from Yokohama, Japan. But yeah, no, Aya is, first of all, if you haven't seen You're the Worst on FX, you need to watch it because she's fantastic on that show, and it dives into depression and mental illness in ways that is so nuanced and fantastic. But that's just a different plug. But Aya Cash is not only a fantastic actress, but she's also a really, really good human being. And I have this, what's crazy is that like, and I don't blame people because we're all so passionate, because I'm a huge fan of the show too, right? But I noticed that like there exist fandoms, and they're so passionate about it, but then there's an inability to differentiate between like the character and the actor. Like, I'm not a Japanese terrorist from Japan. Aya Cash is not a Nazi white supremacist. She would check up on me between every single take and be like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? Are you sure you're okay? Because she knew how hard it was. Like, it's not just physically, emotionally. It's just a really hard scene. Because I remember after we finished that scene, I was like shaking for like 20 minutes and just like smoking and just like, oh no. And my body, because your body sometimes doesn't know that your mind is playing tricks on you, right? When you're acting. And so Karen would come over and I came over and, we're like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm fine. And just started weeping. But I is so fun to work with, man. She's, yeah, I couldn't say enough nice things. So to anyone who says mean things about Aya and not Stormfront, shame on you, madame or sir, or anything in between. Don't do that.
Yeah, very well said. She's a great actress. But don't hate her. Don't hate on her, guys. That's how well of a job she does at
Yeah,
Stormfront.
man.
You talk about getting into those emotional scenes. Now, you and Tomir and Karen had some very emotional scenes.
Yeah.
I would like to read to you, if it's okay with you, one of your lines that I just loved. It was the scene between you and Tomir. You said, the night our parents were murdered, Kimiko just stopped talking, can't talk. She's never made a sound since. In the camp, we were alone week after week, just the two of us for years. We came up with a language so that we could get through it. It saved us, both of us. When you said that line, dude, that was so deep.
Oh,
and where do you go to get that emotion, man? Is there a place? And I've asked the actors before, it's very hard to go to that emotional spot. Where do you go to get that emotion?
It's hard for me to say. I think when it's good, not to say that my work was good, but no, I think when it's good, you don't know. The best times that I've ever had working, whether it be an audition or whether it be on set, I don't remember what I did and how I did it. Because before you go on set, you do, at least I do a ton of work. I do a ton of work on, backstory and what does he actually mean? Like when he says there's a deleted scene, but he says you're not my family from now or from this point forward, and fuck off. That's what he says. But he doesn't really mean that. He's just so sad at how lives have become so certain. He's like, I love you. How the fuck dare you? That's what he's really saying, right? And so I kind of go beneath what is it really saying and all this and the behavior, and I try to discover the voice of the character, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're on set, you have to let all that go. You don't want to be because what happens is my acting teacher always gives us this example, but oh, here's my choice. Oh, here's my backstory. Here's my work. And you're just kind of you can't see Kenji anymore because all you're seeing are my choices and my work and my preparation. So once you kind of, wow, that's an acting lesson for you guys right there. But once you just throw it out, you're just kind of you have everything embedded in you already, so that if you're present with the person, yeah, that Frenchie scene, I love that scene because I, as Kenji, knew that Frenchie cared very, very much for my sister. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't trust him. I don't have any, liking for him. And I also think this way about Americans, about the soups and everything like that. And I see them as affiliate. So there's so much layered going on there. So and I really wanted certain private moments to really come across where it's he's not at this point even talking to Frenchie. He's just thinking about how they started, him and Kimiko, and where they are now. And I thank you for saying those nice things. Again, I'm really bad at accepting compliments. It's not an attempt at humility or trying to seem meek and humble, but yeah, that really means a lot to me. So thank you very much.
Very well deserved.
You are just trying to bring out the waterworks today.
And thank you for the acting lesson. That's awesome to know that. And it's awesome to know how emotional and tolling it could be. You talked about smoking the cigarette, and after that scene, after some of your scenes, right? It could be emotionally draining. You could be tired emotionally after a deep scene like that. We've had some folks that have gotten immersed deeply into their character. And I always mention Heath Ledger, and rest in peace, Heath Ledger, when he did the Joker. That was one of those crazy, emotionally deep characters where it's very hard to let go. But thank you for that.
Yeah, no, and it's weird because I'm not one of those like, and this is nothing with Heath Ledger because I could totally see how that could happen, and it's such a sad story, and from what we know of, but I definitely am not one of those actors who are like, trust me, like in between takes, like I'm like going to Crafty and I'm like laughing and whatever and stuff like that. But there are certain times or certain scenes or certain things that happen, particularly with this project. And it was so funny. You talk about the exhaustion of it all. The job that I'm working on now, I'm actually packing to go there on Sunday back to Australia to finish shooting, but it's a Netflix miniseries. And I had gotten the script for that the day that we were shooting the Stormfront scene on the roof. And I was so tired. Like, I was so tired because I had also done a ton of running that day with the drone and done some stunt work on the rooftop of the, like when I jump across the building and I land, like that somersault thing, landing everything, and that was me. Though Chris Marks, my stunt double, who's amazing, did the jump itself because I have a fear of heights as well. But yeah, no, I got home and I saw that I had the script and this audition waiting for me, exhausted. But that was a tape that booked me this next job that I'm currently working on right now. But yeah, I mean, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It was fun, but it was also like, I think the most challenging things are sometimes the most rewarding. And this role was that for me. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham. I got to ask you, what inspired you to get into the acting world? Was there a particular, movie? Was there maybe a musical, something? What was it that you said, hey, man, that's what I want to do?
You know what's crazy? I never had that. I fell into acting in a very strange way. I grew up wanting to sing, but then my parents are obviously, they were very strict Korean conservative, parents, and I was kind of predestined really to become a lawyer. That was my calling, and I had gotten into actually some really good law schools. But when I was doing that, I was like, hey man, I talked to my mom and I was like, hey, just give me 1 year. Just give me 1 year and I'll defer admissions. Just give me 1 year. And if nothing happens, then I'll go to law school. And my friend Chandler is going to make fun of me for this because he pretends that he's me and he uses this line. And I'm like, that's stupid. But anyway. And so I did that. But within 4 months, within 4 or 5 months, I booked the Glee project. And that was singing, yes, but it also incorporated acting and a lot of other elements as well. And I kind of found it to be like another extension and a branch of storytelling that I kind of fell in love with. And but there was a scene that I watched actually where it wasn't necessarily that like I could do that because I would never presume to be as great as her, though I would love to be greater. But Viola Davis in Doubt, she has 7 minutes in Doubt. And if you haven't seen the movie, God, I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Amy Adams, Meryl Streep, Viola Davis, watch a damn movie. But like those 7 minutes, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but she is so fantastic. And she is a mother pleading for her son. And she knows how much suffering that her son is going through. But because of what's worse, the worst circumstances that he has waiting for him at home, she would rather have him go through these like inhumane things. And to see her justify that through the love is just like mind-blowing. And and she in her Oscar speech for another part for when she won for Fences, she was like, I want to exhume the normal man, the everyday man. I'm probably butchering it, but like I thought about my dad because my dad had passed away at that point, and I want to exhume people that that the everyday person might not be familiar with. You know what I mean? Like my dad was kind of like a normal guy, but he had a lot of stuff that he didn't necessarily, I didn't even know about him until, he passed away. Like I want to exhume him. I want to exhume, Kenji for me is someone who has just been like, who is villainized and scorned, right? Who is like pretty much like in this day and age, I feel like Kenji would be someone who is like canceled till the end of time, right? And banished from society. But he actually has like, instead of being like, oh, what an asshole, like let's cancel him, oh he's this and that, like being like, hey, but how and why did Kenji get there? and you find out that he was not dealt a good deal of cards. And so then we begin to humanize him, and he's not just a supervillain anymore. He is a human being, as we all are. So that's like a very long and winded way of answering your question.
That's very deep, man, but it's so meaningful, because it's so true about, a lot of these characters, and Viola Davis. Oh my God, she is
Viola.
amazing. She
Yeah,
is
I mean, if
great.
there was a fire in a room and there was Viola and everyone else, I would say Viola. And I have and I don't have any apologies about it at all. I mean, that
She
woman,
is
what a,
she is a legend, man. She's a legend. I put her up there with Meryl Streep. I put her up there with
oh,
Meryl Streep.
but again, I mean, and she spoke about this recently, but why is she, when she has a Tony, when she has an Oscar, when she has an Emmy, when she has gold, why is she not getting the same opportunities as Meryl? She
Yeah.
talked about that in an interview recently, and I was like, it's like, okay, Viola, I didn't want that much caffeine this morning, but thank you for that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you've got to think about it.
I love when she speaks the truth, man, and just hits. I mean, it's eye-opening, and we're hoping that there's more change. Hopefully, there's more change, and more opportunity for like we talked about earlier, for diversity. I gotta ask you. You talked a little bit about the Glee project season 2.
Yeah.
Dude, you can sing.
Oh my God.
You you got some chops, man. You got some chops. Um, so I got to ask you, there's another gentleman that was on the Glee TV show who has transitioned over to the superhero world, which is Grant Gustin, and we also have Grant Gustin. Was he one of, did you want to follow in his footsteps? Was he an inspiration to you at all, or?
I mean, Grant, I remember he was actually one of our guest mentors. I forget what week it was. Theatricality, because he comes from musical theater, and I just remember thinking, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like stupid talented. He had a number with Naya Rivera, rest in peace, but he had a number with her, Smooth Criminal, and I was like, first of all, it is a sin to be this handsome, sir. I was like, you are too handsome. But also, like, he was just like the nicest guy. Like, he's just a nice man. Like, he came and he was like super chill, and yeah, like, he's super talented, super kind, very respectful, and I feel like that's how you should be in the industry. So yeah, I mean, anyone who embodies those things is someone that I look to in the industry, and I'm like, yeah, that's what you do, because I know a lot of people who seem like amazing but are kind of like, unfortunately, are kind of shit people. But again, even they deserve like to be like, why and how did they get there, so
I've had the opportunity to meet him 3 times, and he's the nicest guy, like you said. And to me, when I talk to him, he seems such like an introvert.
yeah.
He's right. He's an introvert, but when he goes on stage, I saw him live at a benefit at UCLA, to help some of the folks that have been unfortunately detained by ICE. They did a benefit for them over at UCLA, and which I thought was great. That was amazing. And I saw him sing live, and he was amazing. Let me just tell you.
Stupid.
Yeah, and I saw Melissa as well, Supergirl, who's also a Glee alumnus, and she did great as well, man. I was so happy that they did that benefit for for the children, and the folks that are being detained by ICE, and that's
she's a very, very talented young woman, and she just had a baby, so congratulations to her and her fam. And yeah, but yeah, I mean, they're both so talented, and what a great cause to actually get involved and put your talents into. And I don't know, man, it's such a great, I'm very grateful for the fact that I came from that world. It was I feel like the Glee project was in a lot of ways harder in some ways than than the actual jobs, but I'm so grateful that it afforded me this launching pad to, you know, get a manager, an agent, and you know, one of the guest mentors, Robert Ulrich, him and his office definitely helped. You know, I would arrange like all these meetings with people that wanted to meet with us, but they didn't know our contact, so they would reach out to him, and it really jump-started our careers. Like we all had opportunities. You know, how far we've come was really contingent upon, you know, like, I feel like patience and hard work and a good attitude go really, really far. It's not even necessarily sometimes like when you see it, the most talented, it's people who are kind, people who work their butts off. I look at people from my season, you know, it's no wonder that Ali Stroker's working. It is no wonder to me that Blake Jenner is working. It is no wonder to me that, you know, Lily Mae Harrington is working, you know, and I think more people from our season should be working because there's a lot of talent, but like Alex Newell from the first season working. Why? Because that guy works his fucking ass off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm really proud of us. You know, we were the little show that could on Oxygen, and we did, a lot of us. So I'm very proud of us.
And very well deserved to all of you because you guys killed it. Like I said, you got some singing chops, man. Would you
Really, I
be open?
do? I don't know about that.
Would you be open to like a? I mean, if you ever got cast in some sort of, you know, musical-based show on TV, would you? I mean, how
Yeah,
exciting would that
man.
be?
You know what's so funny? I've been doing dramas. I mean, because Clickbait, the miniseries that I'm working on, so it's like an intense drama miniseries, like super intense. It's from the executive producer of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a Marriage Story. It's less Once Upon a Time and more Marriage Story. It's so intense. And right before that, I did The Boys because I literally left for Australia to start shooting that. I think 2 weeks after I did The Boys, and The Boys was like months of just like me being covered in blood and weeping, right? And so right after while I was working on Clickbait in Australia, I remember talking to my team and just we were having a conference call, and I was like, hey, you guys, so like if there's a musical, if there's a comedy, really anything, even if it's just like 3 episodes where I could just like bring a little bit of color back into my view of life, that would be amazing. So I mean, if you're a writer or director or producer who's watching and you have a musical comedy, I mean, I will do that for free because that's pretty much therapy for me at the moment. But yeah, man, I would totally. I've never done. I don't think I've ever done besides Glee Project. Yeah, no, I've never had to sing on. I actually just had to pass on a project because of my commitments for this mini-series in Australia, but that was a drama, but that involved me singing a little bit, but I would love like a musical comedy or something like that.
I would love to see you in it, man. So if anything comes along, you know, I look forward to seeing you
Hit
in it
me
because,
up.
like I said, you got some
You
great
hit
things.
my
You got
team
some
up,
great
you
things
hit
coming
me up,
soon.
let me know.
So we got some fan questions. We'll do them real quick. We got about 10 minutes. So the first one is, what's your favorite soup of the 7?
Ooh. Huh. I would probably say that's a really fucking hard question. Wait. Oh, yeah. Black Noir. Black Noir. You know why? Because Nathan Mitchell doesn't get enough credit, and also like a man who does matcha tea ceremonies and also knows how to like wield a knife like that. I think yeah, Black Noir or Starlight probably. Yeah.
Nice. Just don't give him any almond joy.
Just don't give him any almond joy, which is so funny because we had like a goodie bag from our premiere, and there was almond joy in it, and at the time I didn't understand because I didn't want any spoilers for the rest of the season, so I didn't really know anything. And so I was like, why the fuck is there an almond joy in this bag? And then when I watched the episode, I was like, that's hilarious.
Awesome. What's your favorite part of working on The Boys?
The crew, the people. There was not one bad egg. Everyone was so excited to be there, and they gave so much life. You know, behind the cameras and every department. I loved working with one of the best crews I've worked with.
Kudos to the entire cast and crew.
And
Kudos.
that,
Well done.
I mean, screw the cast. I mean, we're like, we do nothing compared to the crew. Like, the crew works so hard, and they're there before us. They are there after us, and they are like, oh, I almost said they're the real heroes, but it would have sounded like a Homelander. But yeah, no, truly, they are the real heroes from the show. So like,
Yeah, great kudos to them, man. Well,
yeah.
very well said. Somebody just said your acting was so great in The Boys. You got yourself a new fan. Hoping to see more of you in the future, probably future projects. So they love you. Someone just put a question down there. I don't know if you see it in the chat.
With MCU bringing mutants, what X-Men would you like to play if given the You know, I don't know like a ton about that, like about that world specifically. Oh man, but I was obsessed with X-Men when I was little, man. I would play anyone. I would play anyone. I, for the longest time, wanted to be Gambit. I also, for the longest time, wanted to be like the male version of Storm. I just wanted to be like Typhoon and just call it Typhoon. I don't know, man, but I actually, and you know what's crazy too? I know that people are like, oh yeah, superheroes and stuff like that, but like, dude, it's hard to act with like a green screen and bring like emotion and with things that you don't really see and stuff like that. So like, major kudos to every actor that I might have been like, oh, they're in like a superhero thing. You know, it's a lot of hard work, and so yeah, but I would love to do something like this again. If you could have.
There you go, guys. Don't count them out. Don't count them out. There's another question down there, Abraham. I don't know if you can see it.
If you could have a different power, what would it be? Mind reading and mind control.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great
and
answer.
everyone's like, oh, that's so scary, and I'm like, yeah, that's the point. But like, what's more powerful than the mind? And if you can control that, it's just game over.
Yeah.
Maybe I can have a conversation with our president and his cabinet.
Yes.
Remember to vote. Yes. November 3rd. Remember to vote.
Yes, go vote, you guys. Go vote. Someone asked, very interesting question. If you were in a Disney film, what Disney prince would you rather play as? Eugene Ryder or Kristoff?
Huh. Can I say neither?
Yes.
Yeah, neither. Neither. I would honestly, I wanna play like, you know, I'm seeing a lot of like remakes, right? Of like, like I'm not really interested in being an Asian remake of a character that already exists. Like, let's create new inspirations and like let's create new things. You know, we're creative people. Let's be creative.
You mentioned Crazy Rich Asians. Oh, bless you. You mentioned Crazy Rich Asians, which was such an original film, and I just love that movie. Amazing. Great job to everyone that worked on that.
But yeah, I mean, like, think about it. I mean, like, that whole notion of like, you know, like Black Panther. That's, you know, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But like, you know, that argument, that claim that like, you know, diversity doesn't sell is, you know, obviously horseshit. You know, we see that women lead films and make money. We see that people that are Black, people that are brown, people that are yellow, you know, we sell movie tickets and we have viewers. And so, you know, I would be a new Disney prince, and I would love for his name to be Kenji.
Yes.
No, God, no, don't do that. Oh my God.
No. Yes. Someone asked, what future role would you like to play that is underrepresented in the Asian community? You touched upon that a little bit earlier.
I have a God, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but whatever. I have a script that I write as well. I have a script that I'm working on, and it actually deals with there are two answers that come to mind. One that I'm not working on, the other one that I am working on. So I'll say the one that I'm not working on first. The one that I'm not working on, I really want to see an Asian character dealing with mental illness. I think that's really important. You know, amongst Asian communities, for some reason, mental health is and like is still very much stigmatized, and I don't really fucking get it. It's 2020, and like, you know, there's like a suicide every single day in Korea
Yeah.
and Japan, like from an entertainment industry, or even people in general. Like we have the highest rates of suicide. Like, so why the fuck are you still stigmatizing this? Like, let's talk about this. So I would love that, but the one that I would also love too is like a kind of a coming of age of story of like, you know, religion intersecting with your ethnicity and sexuality, because I don't think sexuality is talked about enough in Asian cultures as well, because again, those things are still stigmatized, and people still, you know, in Asian countries are doing that, and that's just, you know, unacceptable. And so I think that our job as artists, it's not that we're supposed to be perfect human beings, because no one's able to do that, right? But by being artists, we're kind of like putting brushstrokes on a world that we want to see. Or like even with Aya playing Stormfront, you know, yeah, she's playing a Nazi, but yes, she's Jewish, and also like, you know, she you know, I'll just say, spoiler alert, you know, girls get it done. So you know what the intention of everything behind that was. So, you know, let's I want to see a world where within our Asian communities we're talking more about mental illness and sexuality, for sure.
That would be great, man. I myself work for a hospital, and
Yeah.
you know, we definitely need, you know, I can tell you that we need more folks in terms of the you know, psychiatry, mental health. We need more folks to get into that industry. We are desperately seeking more, you know, more staff like that. And I totally agree with you, man. Especially right now with the pandemic,
Especially right.
with yeah, with what's going on right now, man. There's a lot of folks that need mental health. You know, they it's hard, man. It's hard right now.
Man, I've been
It's a
talking to my
semester.
therapist like twice a week. Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Mhm.
going to give his name out, but I've been talking to him like twice a week because, you know, yeah, we're in this time where everyone's super isolated. There's so much there. I think we're all feeling this existential dread because we all have no control over what's happening, and we're very uncertain about the future. And so yeah, it makes sense, but and like people feel so lonely right now, and so it's like, you know, I think it's our job as human beings to be more empathetic and more compassionate, and to, you know, take a few minutes out of your day to just reach out to someone and be like, hey, just thought of you, how are you? Because we're all going through stuff, right? um
Yeah.
Stop being such trolls and assholes on the internet. You know, let's stop treating Twitter like the dumpster fire that it is, and and be human beings. Like, let's be human beings. God forbid. And if you need help, you know, reach out. There are so many resources out there, and like you said, we need more people in that field. And yeah, but like, you know, I know a lot of therapists are also working on like a rolling cycle right now. Can Abraham
Yeah.
give up for me? It's my birthday. Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Samira. Happy birthday. But yeah.
Very well said, man. And you know what? That's something that definitely needs to be discussed in the Asian community, and you know, and also in the Latino and Black communities. There's a lot of mental health issues out there, and thank you for bringing that to light right now during our conversation. I truly
Oh my
appreciate
God.
it. And you know, I look forward to seeing more projects from you. And man, let me just tell you, you are a gifted actor, you are a gifted singer,
Oh,
and I can't wait to see more from you. You know, like I said, you killed it in The Boys, man. You killed it, totally killed it as Kenji. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time today. Is there anything you want to tell your fans?
you know, first of all, before I say anything to them, I just want to say something to you, Julio. I've had a hard week. This is going to be more honest than I expected it, because I'm actually a very introverted person as well. I've had a hard week, and I'm really tired. But like speaking to you, like it's been really, really nice. And you are just, I could just tell that you're just kind of a very connected person, and you like to see people be on just like their job or profession or what show they're on. You know, like half the time we spend talking about babies and mental health, you know. You know, so thank you for allowing, you know, our conversation to go where it was going to go and where it went. You're a good man. And but also to everyone out there, the full season of The Boys is out, season 2. Everything's out, so if you were waiting to binge away. But everyone's been so sweet, even on Twitter. You know, there's like nice stuff on Twitter. Imagine that. But yeah, I mean, like I saw these tweets yesterday about how like they were like Abraham Lim, like, you know, we're so happy that we met him through Kenji, and it's been really overwhelmingly kind, and I'm gonna continue to get better and work on my Japanese. So to all the Japanese viewers, I'm sorry, and I'll get better. But yeah, thank you for your kindness, and remember to be kind, not just to me, but to the people around you, to the people online that you don't know. Like, we're all going through it. Everyone goes through stuff, and let's just be human beings. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you for your kind words. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, Abraham. I can't wait to see more from you. Like I said, you are an amazing human being. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Speedcast. I will be posting this on YouTube later today, so stay tuned. And I hope to have you back, man, after another
Man. Oh
project.
my gosh, for sure, for anything. What's next for you? Clickbait 2021 Netflix.
Watch it, guys. Watch it. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Everyone, have an amazing rest of your day. Please be safe out there. Wear your mask, and please go vote.
Yes, vote November 3rd. Bye, you guys. Bye, Julio. Thank you.
Take care, Abraham.
Bye.
Be safe.